Good evening. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Blacksburg Planning Commission, which is held each first Tuesday of the month at 6:30 p.m. in the Roger Hedgepath Chambers at the Blacksburg Municipal Building at 300 South Main Street in Blacksburg. The public may address the Planning Commission during specific times on the agenda and are requested to adhere to the following. Please speak at the podium, state your name and address, direct comments only to the Commission. Please limit your speaking time to a maximum of 3 minutes and speak only once during a specific hearing or comment period. Please silence all cell phones, show respect for all speakers, and allow all opinions to be expressed in a tolerant atmosphere. So we'll call the meeting to order and have a roll call.
Britt.
Here.
Holly. Ehrman. Ford.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Cassie.
Here.
Reinhardt.
Here.
Walker.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Okay, so first thing is our consent agenda. We need to approve the Planning Commission minutes for January 6th, 2026. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None. And then we'll move on to our public hearings. We only have one this evening, CUP 25-7, a request for educational facilities, the college, educational facilities, college and university use in the RD Research and Development at district at 1701 Craft Drive. We'll start with a staff presentation from Nick Baker.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Planning Commission. For your consideration tonight is a request for an educational facility, college or university in the Research and Development Zoning District. The subject request is located at 1701 Craft Drive in the Virginia Tech Corporate Research Center. The parcel is 4.448 acres and is currently vacant, but has utilized office and research use types in the past. The applicants are the Edward Vide Virginia College of Osteopathic Medicine. And just for context, in 2001, Blacksburg Town Council did approve a conditional use permit for VCOM located at 2265 Craft Drive, which is on the exact opposite end of Craft Drive, for the use of educational facilities, college and university, where they currently operate today. If approved, the CUP would allow VCOM to expand their operations onto 1701 Craft Drive, to support medical education. Uses would include laboratories, research, lecture halls, and classroom space. So the primary criteria for evaluation for this request includes its conformity to the comprehensive plan and the zoning ordinance, while also having a minimum adverse impact on the surrounding neighborhood or community per zoning ordinance section 1181. So here's an aerial view of the site within the research center. This map will provide you adjacent property uses. To the north, you have the Virginia Tech Montgomery Executive Airport and Virginia Tech office space. To the east, you have the View Apartments, and then to the south and west, you just have miscellaneous research and office use types. As I mentioned earlier, the subject parcel is located in the Research and Development Zoning District, which would allow for this use type upon the approval of a conditional use permit. The future land use designation of the subject parcel is research development. Typical uses here include offices and laboratories and light industrial uses that have minimal external impacts and are compatible with surrounding land uses. This proposed use does fit within this designation because it will be similar to VCOM's other location within the Corporate Research Center. The subject parcel is included in the Paths to the Future map, which is map D in the Future Land Use Map series. This map does call for bicycle and pedestrian accommodations along the northern and eastern property lines of the site. This mock-up, this little sketch that I did, it just is meant to show you that in the blue here, where this arrow is meant to indicate that the existing bike lane requirement has been satisfied along Craft Drive. And then this arrow here and here, where the green dotted line is, would be where the proposed trail connection is called for in the map itself. Going back to that really quickly, the applicants have submitted connections, and I will speak on that more when we get to the concept plan portion of the presentation. Here's a street view of the front of the property taken from Craft Drive, just to show you all its current state. The building itself is 2 stories and was most recently occupied by Block 1, which was a software development company. So for our proposed development, the proposed development in front of us tonight, it seeks to modify the current site to accommodate medical education use. So along with renovations of the existing building, the applicant is proposing a new 2-story addition to the north side of the building, which would add a total of 16,200 square feet of new usable space. The addition will be similar in architectural style and building materials used in the existing structure and will be consistent with other buildings within the Corporate Research Center. Access to the site will be provided from the existing entrance location on Craft Drive. And existing parking will be expanded with additional spaces added to fit the expected increased operations from VCOM. A new public sidewalk will be provided along Craft Drive, and internal sidewalks will be added to connect to the building, the parking areas, and an outdoor amenity space. The outdoor amenity space is proposed for an expansion at the rear of the building and would also serve as a connection point for the amenity center to connect to the View apartments. The applicant is also proposing to add 2 new signs to the site via a special signs district, and I will talk about that more later on. But right now, I just want to show you all the submitted existing layout and concept plan that was submitted to us by the applicant, just to give you all a better idea of that big chunk of information I gave. So here is the current existing conditions layout sheet submitted to us by the applicant. The main things to pay attention to here are just the existing building layout, parking, and then just the amount of open space and landscaping primarily located adjacent to the view on this back portion of the property. So here we have the most recently submitted concept plan from the applicant. So this has changed since our work session a few weeks ago. The most recent concept plan was submitted to us on January 23rd, 26th, after the applicants received feedback from staff, corridor committee, and then you all at our work session. So I just want to highlight these changes along with the other relevant proposed site items. So the future expansion area is shown in blue here. The outdoor amenity expanded area, which will be 5,000 square feet, is shown in red, with the walking trail shown in black here, going up the site, up some grade here, and then eventually connecting to the view. Sidewalks are shown, still shown along Craft Drive, and are noted as 5 feet in width with a required 4-foot grass strip from the zoning ordinance. There are a few areas where the grass strip is reduced just based on existing streetlight infrastructure that is located within the right-of-way. The other internal sidewalks that are being added here to just promote better connectivity in the site will also be 5 feet as well. Sort of the main, probably the biggest change since our work session is the addition of this area here was originally shown as a 5-foot sidewalk. It has been changed to a 10-foot asphalt multi-use trail to better meet the intent of the future land use map. As it currently stands, it would stop where my cursor is, where this stub out is. They are also proposing to connect a 10-foot multi-use trail to the existing location here, which would be off-site, adjacent on the, I believe, the southern end of the property. Bicycle parking has been revised to notate the total number of spaces at each proposed location, and the applicants have added a third location here towards the back of the property as recommended by the corridor committee. So total bike parking now will be at 22 spaces. Overall, vehicle parking spaces, as you can see, a lot of parking is being added just sort of on the perimeters of the entire site. The existing parking itself is 129 spaces. The applicants are proposing to increase that to 239 total spaces based on a ratio of 1 space per 250 square feet. The applicants noted that this calculation comes from the same calculation that was used at the currently existing VCON building, with feedback also received based on expected increase in number of faculty, staff, and students. Last thing I want to cover here would be the 2 monument signs. So the applicant, like I said, is proposing to add 2 monument signs as part of this request via a special signs district. So monument sign number 1 would be located here at the very corner at the intersection of Research Center Drive and Craft Drive. And then monument sign number 2 would be located here just off-site, adjacent on the southern boundary. So the zoning ordinance does require a special signs district in order to allow more than 1 monument sign and for any off-site signage. For this special signs district, it would only apply to the subject parcel, which is identified as tax map number 31794. And then the 1 singular off-site monument sign located on the southern adjacent parcel indicated as tax map number 31795. The adjacent parcel is approximately 15.7 acres and has 4 existing buildings on it. Signage for those uses would continue to be allowed as what was already approved by the Corporate Research Center and the town itself. No signage changes or additions are proposed for any of the other uses or buildings within the Corporate Research Center as part of this request. If you all remember in our work session, one of staff's main concerns was just given the increase in parking and the building expansion, if the applicants would be able to meet the 20-foot open space requirement as called for in the ordinance. In response, they have submitted to us an open space plan that does show they will meet that requirement with a 24% proposed open space. Main areas include the amenity area, the dark green here, and then the expanded multi-use trail. Here, the applicant added in their most recent submittal color elevations just to ensure to staff that building materials will be similar or will be the same as what is existing. This will just show you the final product as viewed from Craft Drive. The existing building is here, and then the future expansion area is here, just clearly showing again same architectural style as what is currently being used. So the district standards provide the regulation for the physical development of any site. All applications for conditional use permits must show that the district standards can be met for the proposed development. So here on the left we have what is required, and on here on the right we have what is existing and proposed. The chart clearly does show that the applicants are either meeting or exceeding what is called for in the zoning ordinance. These pictures are just meant to give you all sort of a real-life look at real-life comparison based on those compared to those plans that I just showed you. So these were taken from the southern boundary of the site. This, where my cursor is here, this would be the primary area for that 10-foot asphalt multi-use trail along this portion of the property, again stopping at the stub-out location. The reason the applicants are not extending to this portion of the property, and they can speak on this later, I'm sure, but there is a stormwater pond and a retention wall that would, in their opinion, affect the full expansion back here. So these pictures were taken from the eastern boundary of the site. You can see here is the existing amenity center that will be expanded with the eventual connection point going up this grade, connecting to the view. The view apartments are located in this white and gray elevation here, sort of sitting over top of the property itself. As part of that, the project is requesting to reduce the required buffer yard to a type B buffer yard, which would consist of a 15-foot buffer, 6-foot screen, and a planting of small evergreen trees for the architectural buffer yard option. The applicant's justification for this request is that the subject property does sit at a significantly lower elevation from the adjacent property containing the view, thus creating a natural visual and sound barrier. Additionally, the relief would be needed in order to provide that walking connection and the expanded amenity space. If approved, this buffer modification request would be codified as part of the CUP resolution. The applicant did submit a sign plan as part of this special science district. So sign 1 here at the intersection of Craft and Research would be 42 feet in length overall, with a significant portion of that length being dedicated to a wing design type. So the middle portion of the sign would be 12 feet and would cascade down on each side to 4 feet. And then sign 2, the off-site sign, would be 23 feet in length overall, would again utilize that wing design type. It would be a little smaller, 8 feet in the middle, and again cascade down to 4 feet on each side. Just would like to note that the proposed signs here are similar in nature to the design character of the existing VCOM signage located at 2265 Craft Drive. Engineering staff have reviewed this request. Just want to give you all a couple highlights from their review. The site is served by public water and public sanitary sewer. However, more information will be needed at the site plan stage in order to determine if modifications are required in order to meet the expected increase in capacity from that proposed use. And since our work session and then the memo that we sent to you all last week, the applicants did revise the stormwater concept plan that had been previously denied by town engineering staff. We had a chance to look at that, and an approval letter was sent to the applicants this morning. So that issue has been resolved. Staff are recommending 3 conditions for this CUP. Just would like to note that the condition number 1, which deals with substantial conformance, the date has been changed to reflect the most recent submittal to us from the applicant. Condition number 2, it just deals with the applicant needing to install the walking trail that will connect the site to the view apartments. And condition 3 just would require that any prior to the installation of any signage, a sign permit would be applied for and approved. So the last thing for me, we did have a neighborhood meeting for this request that was held on Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. I did provide the attendees with a brief overview of the request and then just upcoming public hearing schedule and process. After that, the applicants did also present about the development, and they answered any questions from those in attendance. Were able to answer everything satisfactorily. So no concerns or anything like that were raised. And since the time of that meeting, we have not received any objections or comments at all about this request. So that is all I have. Unless there's any burning questions, I'll turn it over to our applicants to present.
Okay, any questions for staff? No? Okay, I'll hear from our applicant.
Evening.
Good evening.
Simonis, Westmore Professional Services. Nick said he would leave no stone unturned with his presentation, and he did. I have very little to add tonight, Planning Commission. Just a few items, and I will we'll sit down. Just to touch on a few things that Nick brought up. Obviously, the biggest thing we talked about at our work session was the trail connection. So as Nick mentioned, we did add the 10-foot trail on the right-hand side, page right there, and then it ties down into the existing trail system right in front of our neighbor next door to us. We do have to yoke that trail width down. As you see, we've got a note variable width asphalt trail along Craft. That's just to get around some of the infrastructure there for the outfall for the creek and the pond, and then get it tied in right there by the crosswalk. The second thing I wanted to note was the buffer area reduction. As Nick mentioned, one of our reasonings for that is that elevation change. So there's about 20 feet of elevation change from the top where the trail ties in to the bottom patio area. So we do have a significant amount of grade there. So I believe in our elevations we show the top of the existing building at its tallest point at about 38 feet. We're looking at only about 18 feet of building sticking up above that property line at the top. So obviously our activity, our cars pulling in, the bikes, the activity area back in the back where our patio is, that's all going to be, again, 20 feet below that existing grade. Stormwater management, again, as Nick mentioned, was approved this morning. We just had a little bit of back and forth on some coordination with some possible future improvements on our adjacent property with the CRC. We were trying to figure out how we could include some language in there. It was just making it a little bit confusing, so we talked to the CRC and we just pulled that out. So that took care of Ms. Howard's final comments on our stormwater plan. I do want to mention myself and John Wassel with VCOM, we presented to the executive committee at the CRC last week. We obtained their approval on the site plan and the sign location. So we're good with that. As we move forward with the building in the future, we would have to go back to the executive committee just to get their sign off on the final building architecture itself. But as we explained, everything as part of this application is conditioned, proffered, whatever, not proffered, but conditioned as part of that approval. So any changes that we would make in the future, if it's substantially different, we'd have to come back and ask for approvals again from you all. And then the last piece I'll touch on is the 3 conditions that staff has recommended we're in support of. I'd be happy to answer any questions. And John would be as well if you have any operational questions regarding VCOM.
When do you expect it to be in operation?
I think as quickly as we can get everything.
We're hoping by the beginning of July when our new school session opens. It just depends on how quick all this comes.
Another somewhat unrelated question, because when we were looking at the view 100 years ago, now it feels like, we were talking about who might live there and thinking about VCOM students always, and we're thinking about building in this area. And I'm wondering if you anticipate traffic between this facility and the view, like students being able to live adjacent.
We do, and that's the reason I think staff was really, we had originally shown that the trail up at the top is just a potential future trail, but as we talked to staff and the corridor committee as well, they wanted to see that going ahead and put in now. And I believe from conversations we've had over the last few weeks from John's standpoint, they do see residents, whether it's at the view or across the street at
that other
If
place.
they didn't
Knollwood.
have,
Thank you, Andrew. Knollwood.
Knollwood
There is a lot of walking. There's a lot of bike traffic, and just even students coming from one VCOM location to one of the other ones. So yeah,
that's
we
my
anticipate.
other question. How do they get from one location to the other?
We've got the trail system goes all the way
It
around
does.
along Craft.
Okay.
Yep, it ties right in to, where we have our new trail shown.
Yeah.
It ties in right there, and then we'll have our new trail section that'll take us up to the back. And I believe, Ms. Jones, you weren't at the work session.
No, that's
but-
why I'm asking all these.
Yeah. So that was the one reason. On the right-hand side, we had to put the trail section in. Town code requires us to have an accessible route from the public sidewalk to the building. We can't do that in the front because of the steps and the grade change. So that right-hand side trail, it was a sidewalk and now it's a trail, would be our accessible route to the top. So you would be able to have a full pedestrian access from one side of Craft all the way to the other now.
Thank you. Are there other questions for Steve? No. Okay.
So the connection from, I'm sorry, a little late on the draw there. So the connection from the existing building at the corner of Research Center Drive and Craft Drive, the other end, that would follow the sidewalk along the road down to this location?
I believe it's all trail coming down this section of Craft, because I believe once you get to this section, right where we have the new trail tying in where the crosswalk is, it jumps over to the other side of the road. There is no infrastructure across the front of our site. right
Okay,
now, But I
that's
believe
right.
it's all trail.
It's all trail. It starts at our other parking lot at the other
Right.
building and walks all the way down. And
Okay.
the other thing about the view of the trail coming from the view, Research Center Drive doesn't have a sidewalk down in this area. So where the sidewalk ends at the view, they'll be able to pick up the trail.
Right, okay, good.
Now, so our students that'll live over in Knollwood area will have access to the building, won't have to
through.
walk around. And we see people jogging on Research Drive all the time, so now at least we'll have a trail to get people safer there.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any public comment? I don't see any public this evening. So, no need for applicant rebuttal. Do we have a motion?
I move the Planning Commission recommend approval of CUP-25-7 with the conditions.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? It's exciting to see VCOM growing, I think. Yeah? Fabulous. Okay. Well, then we will have a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none? All right. Thank you. Now we have general public comment, but still there is no public present. We shall move on to unfinished business. The Zoning Ordinance Review Committee has not met, I assume, okay? Our representative to the Historic or Design Review Board is not present, right? Okay, Andy was supposed to go to the Montgomery County Planning Commission, and he's not present either. So are there additional items from planning commissioners? No. All right, well, new business. We have to discuss the appointment of an interim planning commission chair. Do you want to take that over, Andrew?
Yes, all I'll add is that in your bylaws, as it says, that if there is a vacancy in this position, then at the next meeting, which would be tonight, it would be up to the Planning Commission to appoint a new chair.
Okay,
That's really all I have to add.
so I should ask for a motion regarding that.
Yes.
Okay, does anyone have a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that the Planning Commission appoint Mel Jones to serve as the interim Planning Commission chair.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, I have a motion and a second, so we'll have a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None? All right, I'm chair.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Mel.
Oh, you're very welcome. Okay, chair's report. I don't have one. I'm brand new at this, so I don't have a report. How about the planning director's report?
The only item I really wanted to point out was the save the date for the Planning Commissioners Training, the regional Planning Commissioners Training, which will be on Wednesday, April 22nd. There'll be kind of a mingle hour at the beginning, and then there'll be a dinner in the program, and there's always a good subject to discuss, and always a nice activity and opportunity to share and get to know other planning commissioners from the area. So I hope if you all are available, you will attend, if you can.
Have you guys had any theater training since last year?
Have we had
Any theater training since last year?
we are not going to, we are doing something a little different this game. Think game show. That's all I'll say.
Okay, because the other thing that I want to point out is probably we could have theater training as part of this.
It is
Maybe
available.
next year.
I can
It
use
is
a few
available.
pointers, I'm sure.
It was a great time last year. I enjoyed it.
Excellent.
All the staff from each of the
I've had a fun time
localities had a good,
putting together the
good
scenarios.
program. Thank you.
It's lovely. All right, town council report.
I have nothing this evening.
Oh, boy, okay. Well, then we shall adjourn. Thank you, guys.